Yeah, hello friends. Welcome to What's Going On. It's a weekly roundtable show. I'm your host, Ben Scurria. And I'm going to bring in some of my favorite people, and we're all just going to hang out and talk and see where the night goes. What's up, everybody in the chat? I'd like to say hi to all of you if you're watching. I hope you are. I know you are. And the show's... You're also part of the show. If at any time during the conversation you're like, oh, I've got a story or I want to add to this or I got a question or whatever, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on screen. We'll talk about it. We're excited to have you here. That's it for me today, really. I got nothing on my own. I'm feeling the change of the weather. I didn't like that it was warm for a while and now it's cold again. It feels like a lie, but it also feels like New England in spring. So it's exactly where it should be. But I can't wait for it to warm up even more. That's it from me. I told you I had nothing, and yet I had to prove it. So I'm going to bring everybody in. We're all just going to hang out. So welcome to the show, James and Katie and Ryan and MLab and Mr. Matt Fear. How are you, friends?
Matt.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Fantastic. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here. Let's go around in a circle and introduce ourselves, and then I got one more surprise at the end. So, James, go ahead.
Hi, I'm James Melloni. I'm a improv comedian in Boston, and I'm an all-around good guy. Is that what we're doing for intros?
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
You have to tell us
I guess I'm just James Melloni.
I do also want to say that you can see James every weekend at Improv Asylum, now doing live shows. So if you're itching for it, right?
Yeah, man. If we got shows 7:30 and 10 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays right now. It's incredible, and I love it.
Nice. Yeah, it is happening, somebody said. I love it. Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi. This feels like an icebreaker in an awful work meeting, but so much better.
That's actually the theme we were going to go for with this show. It's just an awful work meeting was the idea of behind the show.
I was just going to say the fun fact. Oh, so I'm Katie, and my fun fact is that I one time met Shaggy at a Friendly's.
Oh, that's fantastic. We're going to have to get into that a little bit because I love that.
So Shaggy was in the area.
Was it him?
Was it? Yeah, I was going to say.
Did he admit it, or was he like, it's not me?
It wasn't me.
You're like, oh, Shaggy.
Must have been the money.
I was 8, and my mom forced me to go over and interrupt his family dinner to say hello.
Jeez.
You go say hi to Shaggy right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Over there.
That's a great fact. Thanks
My
for
mom would do the
sharing
same
thing. Ryan, what's going on?
Hey, yeah. Let's see. Alignment, neutral, good. To piggyback on James, never met Shaggy. Have been to Friendly's.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at an old 1980s Burger King right now?
Taco Bell.
Oh, it's Taco Bell.
Yeah. Taco Bell with the nice, awful color gradient on the tables. Yeah. I decided to put myself in a Taco Bell today. We were talking before the show. We were talking fast food.
And you can also see Ryan in Level Down, which is a show where he and David Thomas and Simi Siren play all sorts of video games, both good and bad. Yeah, when's that show, Ryan?
Yeah, that show is it's oh boy, Rachel's gonna be mad at me. I think it's the
Fridays.
It was last week. It's so the first and third.
It's
First and third, right? Okay, the first and third Fridays of the month at 6:30 right here on 2MB, and then if you want to tune in the second and fourth Fridays of the month and see me struggle like Ben did to host the top of a show, you can tune in at 9 to the 69 minutes of Sex with Me show where we tell dirty jokes for exactly 69 minutes.
Actually, I just lied. I lied second and fourth. I couldn't remember.
Just watch me on Fridays at 2MB.
Yeah, any
Like
Friday you'll see Ryan. We're crushing this. We're crushing everything about this.
Oh no.
M-Lab, what's going on?
Oh, baseline good. I have a big old bruise. You can't really see it from this angle. I got blood drawn yesterday. And I usually that doesn't really affect me much, but man, they got me good. So, but other than that, I'm fine. Yeah.
They went in perpendicular to the skin. They just went straight down.
It's a new technique.
It's all the rage.
Not a good technique. It's not a good one.
I didn't say new. I didn't say good. I said new.
Yeah. Much like new math. Yeah, I was a guinea pig yesterday, apparently. But yeah, I do stuff on 2MB.
Yeah, you do. QAW, right? Thursdays. That's probably and sleepover.
So second and fourth Saturday.
Nice, crushing it.
Good times.
Awesome. And then, of course, Mr. Matt Fear. How you doing, friend?
Hi, everybody. My name's Matt. For those of you that don't know me, I'm one of the producers and founders of the channel, and I do a lot of stuff. I run a lot of stuff, and I started a new job today.
Yeah, Matt escaped the room.
Yeah,
right?
I now work at Escape the Room Boston.
Whoa.
Which I'm very excited about. I got to escape in a room today.
Did you escape it?
I did, with 38 seconds left.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Oh, sorry, go ahead, James.
If you don't escape it, would you not get the job?
No, they would have left me in there until I did.
You would have worked for free.
Yeah. It was just like, well, you're stuck in there until normally it's just an hour, but you have to stay there until you get yourself out.
Matt was telling me earlier that they have a licensed South Park escape room, and I'm both intrigued and kind of horrified by what that
Cartman's classroom.
Oh no!
Really?
Yeah, and it's legit. I asked about that today. I was like, are you guys doing this legally? Like, is this a legal thing that you're doing here? And they're like, yeah, we're fully licensed by Comedy Central.
Whoa!
So, okay.
Yeah.
Is one of the things you have to do eat pubes to like find the next clue?
I mean, I'll be going through the room on Thursday.
Did they hire you to be the pube man?
This is actually why I'm growing all of this. Is I'm going to be shaving all of this.
It's not real
pubes. Are alive.
They're prop pubes.
Well, I'm not going.
Welcome to Hollywood, Ryan.
I can donate some pubes if you need them.
We'll all just put pubes in together, and then it'll just be
it's been a long quarantine, so like legit.
And to answer your question, King Signor, it was just a regular interview. Like, it wasn't a phone interview. I went in for it. Like I went in for the interview. It was all in person, and they just asked the regular kind of stuff.
No kind of escape room specific questions.
No. It was just hey, how do you deal with people?
Not
Depends
well.
on if they're stupid. Like, if they're stupid, I deal with them in different ways.
Do people? I would assume people show up drunk to those things pretty often.
Yeah, drunk and stoned, and I don't know that I would want to do an escape the room like on shrooms.
No,
like I feel like that would be the worst way to do escape the room.
Or I guess we could do the South Park one on shrooms, and it might be hilarious.
Well, the other one's called the Clock Tower, and it's a steampunk one, so it's like all like dark and like gears and stuff. That one would be a little weird to do on shrooms.
That one would be a little weird. Well, thanks for being here, Matt. Thanks for hanging out. And of course, you saw her very quickly earlier pop in to let us know when the show was. We of course have Rachel Andelman hanging out with us. Rachel's going to be hanging out off screen and just sort of doing what she does best, which is, we decided last week it was lurk creepily, and that was your words. And she's going to live tweet the show, and then at the end of the show, we're going to come back and she's going to recap the show through jokes and sort of riff off of all the things that we are riffing on. It'll be like a second layer of riffing, like Inception level.
Riffception,
inside of a riff, yeah.
Oh my god!
You won't even know. Great. Let's jump into the show. So Rachel, we'll check in with you throughout the show to see how things are going. I love it. We pay Rich by the word, so I'm really glad.
She saved you some pennies.
Yeah. Woo. Let's hop in and see where this goes. James, you got a story for us?
Yeah, this time on when I was on last time, I told a personal story about a Dunkin' Donuts that was very nice. This time I wanted to mix it up, and I looked up a news article story about a Starbucks.
Nice.
So I can keep it in the coffee family. I was like, what's a feel good story? And let me tell you, they're tough to find. And I found one, but there was still some parts I was like, "Ow, that's dark." And I was actually intrigued about the darkness in it, but they don't talk about it so much.
We'll talk about it.
So the headline is, where is it? 18 years after he helped deliver him a Wilmette Starbucks in a Wilmette. Forget the headline. It's about man reunites kid he delivered in Starbucks bathroom 18 years ago.
And then he reunites with him?
He reunites with him. So what happened was 18 years ago, a barista at a Starbucks delivered a baby in its bathroom in Wilmette.
That's in Washington. Willamette.
Willamette, I think they say.
Is that part
It says Illinois.
It's the river that goes through Oregon.
Maybe
Illinois.
Well, one of them's from Chicago.
Oregon. Yeah, Casing, Oregon.
Virginia. I don't know. Let's just name states. But
Alaska.
He delivers this. This woman is pregnant. That's what happens, and she gives birth in the bathroom. Right,
it's a prerequisite
right?
to this story.
You guys, I need to clarify.
Hold on, let me get a pen. I need to get a pen and some paper.
This
I gotta
woman
take some notes.
was pregnant because that'd be a different story. But so he delivers that, and he has a life-changing moment where it's like, "Oh, cool! I delivered a baby," and he always wondered, like, what's the kid up to? But he would always search the mother's last name, and the kid didn't have the mother's last name, and it turns out the mother actually passed away in 2012, which is one of the dark things. But the reason he reunites is he searches the mother's name again, and it links to a GoFundMe for the baby that was born in the bathroom and his older brother because their dad had died recently.
Oh,
so I was like, there's the dark. And they don't talk really anymore about this besides it was some medical conditions. And I was like, well, that's kind of like an interesting part of the story. Why aren't we talking about this? But I'm like, this is a feel-good story. Let's forget that. So he ends up sending him a message on Facebook being like, hey, are these people your parents? And the kid doesn't respond for weeks and then sends him back being like, yeah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm the guy who helped deliver you in the Starbucks. And so they end up reuniting and meeting back at that Starbucks. They decided to go back there and meet because the barista was like a supervisor there at the time. I think he lives in Chicago now. But they go back to the Starbucks, they meet, and they kind of become friends where they're like going to stay in touch. And the Starbucks, like they have like a stork, a baby on board sticker to remember that time a baby was delivered here. And then I looked up like news clips from the time the baby was delivered. And the mom was like loving it. Like as the EMTs cut the cord and she's being put in the ambulance, everybody's like cheering outside. And she's like, yeah.
They hand her a small latte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, the barista was saying that afterwards, people like in the area would be like, oh, that's incredible. You did it. It's awesome. And they come and be like, can I get like a Frappuccino? He'd be like, no, we're closed.
There was a baby born. We got to sanitize this whole place.
That poor person who just stops in because they really have to pee. And they're like, is the bathroom? Oh, no. I don't want to go anywhere near that.
But I guess like Starbucks even sent a hazmat team that night to clean the whole place up and stuff.
You have to. Somebody has a baby.
Yeah.
Why
did
did
they have part of this? I just like.
What was that?
Like, what was there? Is it part of Starbucks training to learn how to deliver babies?
I don't know. And I don't know how much actual help he did because in the article it just said he's like hot towels. I'll get some hot towels.
So
I don't know. That was part of the birthing process, but
so he brought hot towels. One point,
it's like
but it changed his life.
Like, do you want some lemon water and a hot towel?
Yeah. He said there
How
was a
would you
quote in
make
one
a
of the
hot
articles.
salad? You'd have to put it in the oven there.
You steam it.
You could
the
steam it
towel.
on the
Yeah, they're-
wand, on the
They're
steam
not
wand.
without steam there.
All right, fine.
How old
Come on,
was he
Ben.
when he delivered this child?
I believe
Child?
21. He was 21 when he delivered the child.
Good on him for
they
thinking it was
reunited.
like a good day, because I probably would have hated that, right? I would have been like, I had the worst fucking day at work today. I had to like
Yeah.
go deliver a baby. I'm
He
just
says
trying
how
to make
much-
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have a
What?
lot of questions for the mom. May she rest in peace. But like,
Yeah.
was she like? I mean, was she in labor and she thought she needed to stop real quick to get
The
like
baby came 3 weeks early.
I wonder if the stimulant nature of the
But did it just
caffeine
come? Like that's
Yeah,
helped induce the labor.
it still feels like there would be a time between her getting to Starbucks and having a baby where she thought maybe she was having a baby. But actually, I don't know. I've never had a baby.
Yeah,
Who's
I
to say?
can't.
They don't tend to just sploosh right out. Like there's a time.
We would all
There's a
be better
wild.
for it if they just splooshed right out.
Absolutely, like a giraffe, just hit the ground, get up.
I mean,
they
this
start
article
walking.
seems to suggest that it happened pretty quick. Like
I
it
guess
doesn't
it
say how
could,
long.
Yeah.
Well, aren't there stories of like people that give birth and they don't even like realize it, like on the toilet or something like that?
I didn't
yeah,
know.
they didn't
Like
even know
not
they were
knowing they're-
pregnant.
And it's just like, so I'm like,
I
I
can't
think it's a
imagine.
TLC show. I also question that though. I feel like there are a lot of signs that you're pregnant. Maybe as somebody who's been terrified of that for 25 years, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm always mystified by that. I'm also mystified that Starbucks is still operating at this point. Like, how long does a retail food, like let's be real, Starbucks is a fast food chain. How long does a fast food place hold a location? Usually not longer than a decade, right?
No, I know from experience the 2 fast food locations in Tewksbury, Massachusetts of Burger King and McDonald's have been there my whole life.
Yeah.
And that's at
In my
least 30
hometown,
years.
we got a Hardee's.
That works.
And
Hardee's,
that
that's
Hardee's
not
is still
real.
there. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just scarred by the Wendy's that went. It came in my senior year of high school in my hometown. We went all the time, and it closed like a year later.
Oh,
It's the greatest
Sorry,
year of
Ryan.
my life.
well, that just sounds like bad management.
The town banned drive-throughs. It was
Oh,
dumb.
okay.
Yeah, it was one of those towns.
That
yeah.
sounds like a
Why?
Footloose situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drive-thrus of the devil.
What's
Yeah.
the purpose of banning a drive-through? That was all I did growing up. That
it was
that was
like
the only thing you could do was go to a drive-through.
traffic and maintaining our small town image.
Oh my god. Ugh.
The town also, I think when I first moved there, they were like in the process of trying to stop a Walmart from opening in town.
What
was-
town
yeah.
I
is
love when
Westford,
towns
Massachusetts, not far from Tewksbury.
Mm.
I love when towns try to make stuff look fancy
Tewksbury
like
got
that.
the
I had a
Walmart.
job in Wellesley for a little while,
Oh my
and
God, yeah.
it's closed now. But there used to be the fanciest Papagenos in Wellesley.
Mm,
I love that. I love when
remember
there's like a
that.
McDonald's, but it has like a
Yeah, because it
brushed
needs to have
metal
the facade
sign.
outside.
Yep.
It needs to look really nice
It has to
because that's
match
what the town
everything in the
says.
town.
See,
Yeah.
that's Pizza Hut to me. That's
Yeah.
Pizza Hut. Like Pizza Hut, like that was my high school senior of high school job was at Pizza Hut, and that's a fast food place that is like set up like a sit down like
Yeah.
fancy restaurant.
Yeah, okay, so it
right?
was. Did they have
But
the
it's
buffet?
pizza.
Did it have the buffet?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Salad bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Pizza
lunch
Hut salad
buffet
bar.
was the fantastic. Yeah.
Mhm.
And when
Yeah.
we started doing that, and we would go on high school, we would skip like the class after lunch, and we would go and just sit and pile up plates.
Yeah.
It was
I remember
Did you
going
guys
there for
used to do the school? Did you get free pizzas when you read books? We had
Oh,
a school
book it.
program.
Yeah. book
where
it.
you read a book and you took it in, and then they would give you free pizza.
A personal pan pizza. Those
No.
things were awesome.
Yeah,
They try to gamify everything. I think at my school it was like one class who can have a pizza party, but you guys all have to compete for it. Instead of just
Oh,
giving
no.
my own
We-
personal
my-
pizza.
Thunderdome.
my elementary school. I wonder if I said this before. My elementary school. So I moved out here when I was 11. Before that, I was a kid in I was in LA, in the LA Unified School District.
LA.
Yeah, LA in the Valley. The Valley. Reseda, as mentioned in the Tom Petty song Free Fallin'.
Written about Ryan.
I went to my second grade. I went to Van Alden Elementary School, sponsored by Carl's Jr.,
which is Hardee's, right? Like
yes, in the West Coast,
thing.
they both have the stars, the logo.
Yeah.
In the only field trip we went on in second grade was walked down the street to Carl's Jr. We got to see how the burgers were made. I got to put a burger patty in the burger machine. We all got a cheeseburger at the end. That was the only field trip that year.
What a great field trip!
What is the burger machine?
There was it was basically a conveyor belt. It was a 3-prong conveyor belt. You put the top and bottom bun in, and it would toast the buns. And then in the middle, on this sort of loose chain conveyor belt, was the broiler. So you put the patty in.
Look how much you learned, Ryan.
And I'm ready. Look at my background. I love fast food. They fucking got me.
That sounds like an awesome field trip because my favorite part of Mr. Rogers was when you went to the factories. I would have loved that.
Oh, yeah. It was amazing to see. Plus, we got a burger at the end. But in hindsight, it was like, all right, well, let's take the kids let's have them learn something they can apply later in their life. Here's how to
work fast food.
You're going to be cooking these one day.
Yeah. The LA public school system was completely defunded in the 90s, and I don't think it's gotten better.
They knew what the future job market was going to be like, and they wanted to set you up for a realistic standard.
For very moderate success, yes.
Yeah. And then they're like, you might deliver a baby in here one day. Who knows?
There was no baby training, so we did not get the full experience.
There was
then the baby machine.
There was no song about that in the Wendy's training videos. Have you ever seen those on YouTube?
Oh man!
Yeah. Oh, the Wendy's training videos
too.
Delivering a baby. That would have been a good one. I prefer the hot drinks.
If you don't know what Emily was talking about, literally Wendy's made songs like training video songs.
Are those copywritten?
I wouldn't think so.
No, I think that's probably fair use at this point. They've been around for so long.
I don't think they didn't license those with ASCAP or anything.
So yeah, Matt, if you can find a dope old Wendy's ad, we'll watch it.
I'm already there. I have hot drinks pulled up and
here we go.
Hot drinks is on my YouTube play again list. I watch.
Oh,
yeah, I've never seen this.
It's such a jam.
It is.
Coffee, decaf, and hot chocolate. Those are the hot drinks that you serve, so get set. Hot cups come in 2 sizes. Small and large, you fill as the need arises. Coffee's holding time is 30 minutes, that's so long. You can stay there before it starts to taste too strong. Hot, careful when you pour it. Hold it steady upon the counter, let it sit. Pour it in until the coffee reaches the line. Pop a top on it. Every time Wendy's coffee tastes so fine. Hot drinks really get you going. Warm you up when you feel your slow.
Oh fuck! It's got horny.
I just can't stop thinking about the studio musicians who had to make this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really, how much is there to know about making coffee? This is a 2-minute and 38-second instructional video.
Oh yeah, we did coffee. Now we're doing Sanka. Who the fuck orders a coffee from Wendy's?
What is Sanka?
It was like old decaf instant coffee, I think.
Yeah, the Sanka was instant coffee. So it's disgusting.
Now, did they use this as advertising at all, or just purely training videos?
It's training.
Yeah.
They missed that. This thing would have went huge.
Yeah.
If they did it as
This
an
is
ad,
from
that could be great.
2010.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
No,
not
it's
as much as I thought.
No.
I thought this was like just done in like the 70s. I was like, what?
Spin move.
This is
So
from 2010.
No.
Oh,
It
the
was
video.
uploaded 2010, I guess.
Oh my
and
god.
then there's cold drinks.
All right, we
Ooh.
don't need to watch. We don't need to watch anymore. We get it. We get
You're only a
it.
few thousand away from 3 million views. Let's get them there, everybody.
Let's
Two
get
of
them
you.
right now.
So we've laid out the building blocks for you. Enjoy after the show when you watch the
Yeah.
rest of those.
That,
hot
yeah,
drink.
that's bonkers.
Yeah.
That is a bonkers song and a bonkers story. We're diving into some fast food stories. It looks like. I like it. I like
We
it.
brought it back to coffee at the end too.
We did bring it back to coffee, which I like. Katie, you can choose to tell whatever story you brought, or if you have a fast food inspired story or a story inspired by anything we've been talking about, feel free to call an audible, whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, I love fast food. We had a pretty intensive conversation about fast food before this. So I might switch gears to another type of food, which
Yeah,
is
do it.
food that I have made at home. This happened to me last week. So I subscribed to a meal kit service. You know, I won't say the name because I don't get any benefit from being a loyal customer whatsoever.
Yeah,
They're
they're
like,
not a sponsor.
"Here,
Fuck
give
'em.
free meals to your friends." I'm like, what about me? I've been paying for this for 4 years. But anyway, yeah, I guess if anybody wants a free meal. But anyway, okay, so everything that I get is 2 servings, and I live alone, so I just make something, and then I save the second part for the next day. And last week I was making this, like, Southwestern soup. It was kind of like a chili type flavor. So I ate it for dinner, and then I put it away, and then the next day I went to go eat it for lunch. And I should say, on top of this soup, I put, like, toppings like sour cream and cheese and, like, all of that because it's like a chili type thing.
Right.
Sour cream and cheese.
Yeah.
Put it to this line.
Make sure a lid goes on the top.
sorry. It's just,
They do
there.
serve chili at Wendy's, so it is all coming together. Anyway,
It sounded like Wendy's chili. Yeah.
for lunch, I loaded up my soup with the sour cream and the cheese, and I started eating it, and I'm like, this tastes so bad. Like, it tastes so vinegary. It tastes so different than what I had last night. Like, I don't know what happened overnight in the refrigerator, and I hated every second of eating it. I was like, this is disgusting, but I am like, I have like food fears. I cannot throw away waste food. Like, I have a real anxiety about it. So I just forced myself to eat the whole thing. And then later that night, I opened my refrigerator and I realized what I had eaten for lunch was an entire jar of spaghetti sauce. I had poured out, I used the wrong container. And so I used plain spaghetti sauce with sour cream and cheese on top. It was like an olive spaghetti sauce. It couldn't have been more disgusting.
That sounds so terrible.
It was awful. It was so bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, just a whole jar of spaghetti
Yeah,
sauce.
the whole thing.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't Alfredo. You would have. That would have.
At least you would have known
What
that.
to
Other
get
than
through.
that's so frugal, I save all my like spaghetti sauce jars to put other stuff in them. But I don't know. I feel like the lesson I learned was to like throw away food. I'm not sure. It was
Or at least smell it. I think smelling it maybe would have just helped you know that smells like chili versus that smells like tomato sauce.
So
Maybe.
did you have the spaghetti sauce in the chili in the similar containers?
yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
But like, so the chili had like black beans and stuff in it, right? And I was like, somewhere in my mind, I guess I thought that those had like disintegrated overnight. It wasn't
happens.
the same consistency.
Those disintegrating.
Yeah.
I've made a few spaghetti sauces before. I've never put vinegar in them.
Yeah,
Are you
true.
eating vinegary spaghetti sauces?
This was a puttanesca, so it had like olives in it, and so it was like like a vinegar.
I was gonna say
Man.
because it's weird as I was like, oh, sour cream and cheese, gross. But as I sort of dissect it, I'm like, well, tomato soup is and a cheese sandwich is a thing, and gazpacho and sour cream
love
is a thing.
gazpacho.
So
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't.
But I think
do
it's
that.
the olives. The olives is gross.
It was the
too.
olives for sure.
Were you excited that you're like, hey, I can have the good meal again now?
It kind of like ruined me after that. I don't want to eat a soup.
So
I don't
did you
know.
throw?
I can't trust myself anymore.
Did you throw out the chili then?
No, I didn't. It's in my freezer, so.
So
For when I'm ready for another day.
You may know this already, Katie, and if you do, please excuse me. But my tip is get masking tape and like a marker, and then literally just put it on, and you write soup, and then the date that you put it in there, or spaghetti sauce, and the date you put it in there. It's a restaurant thing, and then you know just by looking at it what it is and whether it's still good or not. You don't even have to.
Another thing about me, because I don't like to throw away food, is that this is a mental illness, I think. I eat things like past the expiration date, like always, like almost every day. Yeah.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad we're all ill.
I drank some milk earlier that was past the expiration date from like the end of March.
Smell check.
It was still good. Like it's still like it didn't taste bad. It hadn't gone bad.
They put so much
it's
stuff in
just
that now that it lasts for like ever. You can have milk for years.
I will say I'm almost mentally ill the other way. I get scared. I don't like waste a ton of food, but I get scared with old food because I don't want to get sick. Yeah. I don't want to get and I'm like, what bacteria is growing on there, or what? Like, I don't.
You know what it is? You eat enough bad food that you've built up a tolerance to all bad food. That's what I. Yeah.
That's the Ratatouille. That's the Ratatouille gambit right there. That's
the Ratatouille.
Yeah,
gambit.
that's the bit from the movie where he's like, if you get past the gag reflex, so much, because he's eating garbage, so it's
Every time I feel concerned about it, I think of that scene from Tiger King where they're all just like taking the expired meat off of the big truck. Yeah. And I'm like, none of them have died yet, so I'll probably be okay. That's my reasoning behind expired food. The Tiger King people are still alive.
If they have died, it's the tigers, it's not the meat.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not the expired meat.
I heard that in the UK, eggs actually have a waxy substance around them that
they don't wash them.
It stays longer, but in the United States they wash off that waxy outside of the eggs so that the eggs actually go bad faster.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy. It's a capitalist conspiracy.
Big egg.
Buy new eggs. Big egg.
They do it for health reasons, like you eat the shell ever.
Exactly. It's clearly like such like an American thing. Like I don't want this wax on my eggs.
Because you could crack a shell into an egg and now it's all contaminated with salmonella. Like you're gonna Rocky it and just chug it. Although, now I say that and I was like, I've whipped egg whites into a drink before and just drank it raw. Yeah. And I make eggnog every year, so fuck me. I drink raw eggs.
Yeah, we got you in your face, right?
Yeah.
But you're supposed to get them.
That's like, if anybody watching this gets food poisoning, we are not responsible.
Oh yeah,
we are not doctors. We've said it many times. So this is not real advice at all. But yeah, if you're gonna get raw food, like if you're gonna eat raw eggs, or if you're gonna eat steak tartare, like raw beef, just get it from a butcher you really know well, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't go to Market Basket for that one.
Or just go to the truck from Tiger King and pick it up.
Yeah. James, there's nothing wrong with Market Basket. I'm just not going there for my steak tartare.
I'm from Tewksbury. I have to defend Market
You have
Basket.
to do it.
Yeah.
James, I did go to Market Basket this week, went and got milk, and there were a bunch of milks that had expiration dates in March.
Yep.
No.
Why are these out here? Like a whole row of them. Like,
got to get rid of those.
Because they're not playing into
Matt.
the capitalist conspiracy. That's what
it's sale milk. That's sale milk.
That's the
good milk.
section of the market.
Maybe you want to make some cheese. Huh? Yeah. Use this one.
It's a buy two get one free milk.
We're having a roulette sale on milk.
Roulette sale.
Roulette sale.
Milk chugging contest.
90% chance it's 10% off. 10% chance I shoot you in the face.
Yeah, we got a bunch of dented cans of Dinty Moore beef stew. We're not saying they got botulism, but one of them might.
You get the botulism, you win the lawsuit.
A couple years ago, I had a momentary I want to reconnect with my childhood and eat some Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs with mini meatballs.
I love that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know if you've had them recently. They were fun, but they are really fucking sweet. Like the tomato sauce in it is like sickeningly sweet tomato sauce because it's for kids, so it's not like a vinegary tomato sauce. It is and it's like fake cheese in there too. So it's like, I don't know.
Chef Boyardee is one of those foods that takes me back to high school. My great-grandmother would always have, my great-grandmother lived within walking distance of high school, so I would always walk to her house. Like if I had to, if I didn't have time to go home, but she would always have cans of Chef Boyardee in her pantry. And that's what I'd have for dinner. She'd be like, oh, get your can.
Aww. Didn't you feel like I felt like such a grown up when I could heat up my own SpaghettiOs for dinner, and I was like, I can cook.
Yeah. My grandma was big on that. I'd help her cook all the time. Yeah, she'd make food all the time for her, like my grandpa and his brother, and they'd come over for lunch all the time, and she'd make food.
That's so sweet.
I feel bad that Boyardee had to change the spelling of his name so people would pronounce it correctly.
What? Wait, what?
Boyardee is that there's no Italian doesn't use Y's. There's no
right. But was there actually a Chef Boyardee? I figured that
there was a guy Boyardee.
No, I think that was a made up.
It's gotta be. It's Boyardee.
Ettore Boyardee.
Boyardee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's right. It's
better known by Hector Boyardee.
Hector.
It's a real guy. That picture on there is a real guy.
Yeah,
and it's spelled Boiadri.
ARDI. Yeah, here it is. This is off the Wikipedia.
I guess people would have said Boardy if they saw it like that.
Americans wouldn't know what to do with that. Except now that we say like "fuck boy" with a BOI, we might get it.
He was ahead of his time.
He should have left it.
Boyardee.
Fuck boy.
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
The OG fuck boy.
The SpaghettiOs for adults.
I would definitely wear a T-shirt that said that.
That's a print.
The first product he sold was a ready-to-heat spaghetti kit in 1928.
What?
That's when spaghetti was
Isn't
like
all spaghetti ready to eat? Like that's literally all you do.
You would think, yeah.
Yeah, eat dry spaghetti. That shit.
I love that. Good for him.
Oh wait, did you say ready to eat? I thought you said ready to heat.
Ready to heat. Ready to heat.
That's all
ready to heat. So ingredients.
All food.
It says the kit included uncooked pasta, tomato sauce, and a container of pre-grated cheese.
So it's just exactly what you would just make.
So it's just exactly what you got.
Like it though. He was
in 1928. In 1928, that was fancy. People were like, "What the fuck is this?"
And exotic.
Mm-hmm.
And this was right before World War II. So this is a really cool story. Like he got commissioned by the US military and he had this spaghetti factory going like 24 hours a day, making rations for the US government.
So World War II was fueled on Chef Boyardee?
Yeah. He employed approximately 5,000 workers and produced 250,000 cans per day.
Oh man.
I had no idea.
Spaghetti of democracy.
There you go. A little history.
I loved it. The Nazis were taken down because we were fueled by Chef Boyardee. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. You would have thought the spaghetti would have helped the Axis powers at least for the first half of the war.
Yeah.
Fight fascism with Chef Boyardee.
Allies all along.
Yeah, I'm surprised that maybe that's why he changed his name. He was too Italian and they didn't trust him. And he's like, no, I'm American. I'm a Boyardee. He's like, look how American I am. BOYRDEE. Boyardee.
He was the Guy Fieri of his time.
Truly.
The reverse guy, because Guy Fieri's his last name isn't Fietti, right?
Fietti, but isn't that what people say?
Is that his actual name?
Yeah.
Fietti.
My favorite show is Guys Grocery Games. So I'm now like
Okay.
I have enough confidence to admit that now.
His middle name is Ramsey.
I also like Guys Grocery Games quite a bit. I don't like there's a little deep cut between Katie and I here. I don't like how they've changed the bonus round at the end to the riddles instead of having to get like one thing from each. Like
I like the riddles because then I feel like you can play along.
I just feel like nobody ever gets them all because it takes so much time to read them.
But nobody really ever got them all, and I always wondered, like, they just did all of that work. Can you just give them the $20,000? Like,
I often thought that too.
Sounds like the end of Run On, Ben.
That's where we got our inspiration from.
You don't get to insult the show where the two hosts are right here.
All right, and you're further away now.
A really cool thing about Guys Grocery Game, though, that I found out was that it's not a real grocery store, but it's basically a giant food bank. So all that food is donated to food pantries after the show, and then it's restocked by all the companies who want their stuff on TV. But it's not a real supermarket. It's like I got bummed when I found out it wasn't a real supermarket.
Like a pretty good person. He looks like a complete idiot, but he's actually like a nice person.
Yeah. He like takes care of his people too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of weird stuff about diners, drives, whatever it's called.
Diners, drives, and dives.
Triple D.
The Triple D.
Triple D.
There's a lot of weird stuff in that. Like you have to, like if you own the restaurant, you have to put up all the money. Like you have to basically give him all the food. Like they don't really give you any money for the food that you feed him and show him how to make and everything.
But you get a big bump from that. Like apparently, like somebody was like, we know whenever the rerun shows up because we'll randomly get like 200% of our business for a couple days.
Wow.
Which
this
is
is turning into a Guy Fieri like fan club.
It really is. It really is.
The guy.
We're deep diving into food, and whenever you do that, Guy Fieri. The last thing I'll say about Guy Fieri is, Rachel has something to say about Guy Fieri.
I love food. I can't write any more tweets about food. I'm just gonna say it.
If I may.
Well, Rachel, we challenge you to write some more food stories.
I will say one more thing about Guy Fieri. Every time I go on Grubhub now, Guy's Kitchen, which is like basically out of the back of a Bertucci's. Guy has taken over Bertucci's in the pandemic and is doing a restaurant out of the back of Bertucci's. And every time it comes up on Grubhub, I'm like, is today the day I'm going to eat Guy Fieri's food?
Yeah.
I haven't quite given in yet, but one of these days I'm going to.
I think we should do it live, Ben. Let's do it live.
Yeah,
Let's
do it live. Do it now.
let's get everything.
Yeah, how late are they open? Do it.
Do it.
All right.
Fiery Fest. Something.
Oh.
Fire Fest.
Fiery Fest.
We'll just call it Firefest. Yeah.
There you go. All right, MLab, for Rachel's sake, do you have a story that's not food related? But if you don't, we'll make it work.
Please just say no.
No, my story was not food related, and while I was starting to feel pressure to change my story, Rachel has spoken. So I went on one of my my favorite little websites. I fucking love science. Just browsing for headlines. And I ended up finding one that it was a today's headline of something that actually like resonates with me very deeply on a personal level. Allow me to explain. So the article, I'll share it in the chat too. So this guy in Canada bought an ancestry DNA test for his birthday. So already, like right out the gate, the author of this article is like kind of throwing shade at the boyfriend for giving that as a gift, because he even says like, "Oh, it was on sale, so I got myself one too." Thanks for this on sale delve into my my past, because this girl, so this girl, her mom was adopted, and she also never really knew her biological father. So there was, like parts of her familial history that she was not familiar with. So she took the test, and her boyfriend took it too. And then a month later, they were like looking at her results. Her name is Matilda, and she was scrolling through, and she was like, "Oh, look at this! My cousin here has the same name as you." She was dating her cousin.
Accidental incest.
First cousin?
At first it was argued that he was a third cousin, but then she did a little more research and it was definitely a first cousin.
What
Like
state
you share
was
a
it?
grandparent.
Is it cool there?
What?
I said, what state was it in? Like, is it cool there?
Oh, it was in Canada, so I don't know.
Oh,
That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up in there.
But I guess she went on TikTok, and I'm annoyed because they posted the video, but she has a private account, so you can't it's just not there. It's not on the article. But she posted that story, and it created this spiral of people essentially confessing to either being involved in or being a product of incest. People were just like, all right, let's vent our incest.
Wow.
But are they still together or what?
No, they broke up partially because of differences in the relationship, but mostly cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would suck though.
Wait,
Honestly,
what? You
I would
broke up
have a
there a
hard
little
time.
bit.
What? What if
You
you
broke
really liked the person? Would you break up with them? Everybody has to go around and say.
Yeah. We're doing an incest
How long have
confessional.
we been together? How long were they together, Emma?
Hang on.
Does it say?
Like a year.
Mm.
So
I'd probably break up with them.
yeah.
That's what I'm gonna say. I would
Okay,
break
but
up with them. If
you're
they were
in
my
a
first
global
cousin.
pandemic and you can't leave your house.
Well, I don't.
Well, no.
I don't- it doesn't-
You're adding a lot of
Incest.
qualifiers.
I'm going to take the
I would
unpopular
incest
opinion and
through
say
the
no.
pandemic.
I wouldn't break up with them. All
I
right.
don't think I would either.
If there's not a history of incest before that, first
Yeah.
cousins is from a children's standpoint not that big a risk unless you're Habsburg European royalty where the family
especially if
trees
you
are
didn't
just
know.
a straight line.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
If you
I'm
didn't
with Ryan
know
on this
going
one,
into
yeah.
it and
Yeah.
then found out, if you really love the person,
I
Yeah.
think you go on
I think I would.
Tinder for 10 minutes and then you're like, no, actually, I'll just keep fucking my cousin. Seriously,
I've done enough.
it's not good
Yeah.
out there. We'll just
Wait, so you,
If this
would
was a
you then
great
tell the rest of
relationship,
the family?
I'm not kidding. What?
Would
This
you
is
then
great,
tell the
guys.
rest of your family? Would you be like, hey, to your uncle? Would you be like, I'm fucking your kid?
Well, they clearly don't know. I mean, oh, right, they were adopted. I'm like, they haven't spent any family time together. Well,
they haven't, but our families all have.
I mean, it all
That'd be
depends on
tough.
how much you love her. You got to bite the bullet.
And there's a
Yes.
pandemic. I don't know. There's a
If there's
pandemic.
true
on.
love, I mean, come on,
Yeah, I mean,
man.
love
It's
is
true love.
It
Well,
was
my whole
pretty
hard
fine
enough to find.
for a lot of years until recently. I don't know why I'm really gonna die on this hill right now, but
No, I like that you're defending it because I am adopted and I grew up with my mom literally telling me oh you can marry any of your cousins because they're not really your cousins, but me mentally recognizing them as my cousins, I was like, no, thank you, mother dear, I'm not going to do that.
He consistently told you that you could marry your
Come on,
cousins.
man.
Yeah.
How about that Nicholas?
Oh,
He's
cute.
rich. Your uncle there is rich.
Uncle Ed will take care of you. But then there was that whole other side of, well, yeah, I guess I could very well date my cousins that aren't related to me. But I was more afraid when I started internet dating that I really was going to find someone actually related to me.
yeah.
So, which is interesting because my dad, he's the only one of his 8 siblings to have a different father. And he 3 years ago, my mom has a friend who works for Ancestry DNA, so she got him a test.
Was this known before that?
Yeah, he never knew who his dad was. My nana would not tell him. But he did the DNA test. Come to find out, his papa was a player because he had many half siblings.
Ooh. Well, we will.
Oh, no.
But your Nana might have been a player too.
She was
You wanted
16.
those cards close to her chest.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like my Nana was just like after that dude, she then married the next guy who she had 8 kids with. So I don't know. I feel like she was looking for love.
Now, is incest illegal? Because I just Googled it, and it says it's illegal, and it can be child abuse. That's what I thought, but then at the same time, I was like, could they even still date? Like, what's like the?
I think
who are the incest police?
Different municipalities would probably have different degrees of how related it would be legal. Like siblings, probably not.
So you could probably
almost anywhere.
You could probably date, but you probably couldn't get a marriage license if you were. I don't know if a municipality would give you a marriage license if you were like cousins. I know people who are second cousins who are married. I went to one of their weddings.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's
yeah,
what, same
that's
great grandparents?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's second cousin?
Same great grandparents, right? Or they share a set of great grandparents.
Same great grandparents.
Yeah.
Danger of that ancestry.com. I feel like you can find a lot of connections. I mean,
yeah, it's a slippery slope. So my boyfriend actually, who I've been seeing for some time now, the first time that he came over for Christmas to like meet my parents, my dad had just recently found out like who his dad was. And so he was going on and on about like, oh yes, Spiro Zakis, like he passed away, but he's got a couple brothers that one's in Gloucester and the other's in Peabody. And my boyfriend Matt was just like, oh, I knew some Zakises in Peabody. And he was like, oh yeah. My uncle George Zakis. And he was like, George Zakis, he lived on Linden Ave. And my dad was like, yeah, and he drove an ice cream truck. My boyfriend is related to my dad through marriage. I'm adopted. I just need to reiterate.
Wow.
That's insane.
Nuts.
The universe really wants you to incest.
Yeah.
I know.
Adopt is like the reverse card in Uno. You just throw it to nope. It's fine.
Reverse.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So yeah, that's about as close as I'll get to it, but that's not, my personal journey.
I mean, there have been several large, not extinction, but like the population of humanity has gone way down at several points in human history. So I think I've heard it's theorized that like a lot of the genetic like problems that people have are probably due to like incest a long time ago during some of these like major famine or like die-off periods in human history.
It's all Adam and Eve's fault.
Yeah.
I just love that there's like one dude who's psyched that everything's gone bad because he finally gets to fuck his cousin. He's like, oh, guess we have to repopulate stuff, huh?
It's my time. You remember that show, Last Man on Earth, with
Will Forte?
Will Forte. Oh, sorry, Katie.
Katie.
I lost Katie.
I upset Katie.
She hated
that. I didn't like the only thing I didn't like about that show is they like set that show up. They were like, it's Will Forte. He's the last man on earth. It's by himself. And I was like, what a cool fucking show. And I knew eventually they were going to have to introduce other people, but they did it like episode 1. And I was like, really? I was
like the best part of that show was the first 20 minutes where he's like, where he's just got all the shit from all over the world.
Yeah.
I could watch Will Forte just slowly lose his mind by himself. That would be the show for me. Maybe I'm in the minority there. I don't know.
I was kind of hoping that's all the show was going to be, but I guess that wouldn't be sustainable.
How long was Castaway? How long was the movie Castaway?
Too long.
Almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Too long.
That long, jeez.
It was 3 hours. I missed that. Sounds
It
awful.
was just under 3 hours, I think. It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something. You've never seen Castaway? You should. Here's the thing. It is an impressive performance. I will give it that. It holds your attention for the whole time that he's there by himself. And
He had the volleyball.
Wilson.
He did have Wilson. He did
Oh
have
my
Wilson.
god! Could you imagine if a volleyball won Best Supporting Actor?
It's very much a testament of what like actors can do, right? Like because basically they filmed the first half of it and then they took a few months off, and then he like transformed himself for the second half of that shooting that movie. That's the coolest part of that movie to me.
Yeah, I always think it's crazy when an actor, as somebody like who has struggled with weight my whole life, it boggles my mind when actors are like, "Yeah, I dropped 80 pounds for this movie," and I'm like, "You did what? What did you do?" Yeah, fucking great. I'm glad you could do that so quickly and easily.
Well, that's all they have to do. That's literally all they have to do.
Yeah. Just get a team of people.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure. Somebody paid me to lose 80 pounds. I'm not even sure. I mean, maybe I could. Maybe if it was Hollywood. Prove me wrong,
They pay
Hollywood.
you a lot. Yeah.
And they give you a trainer, and they tell you what to eat. I think if I had a personal trainer and a personal chef,
Yeah.
I could lose the weight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if somebody's just like, eat this, do this. I'd be like, okay.
They're probably just like on that like master cleanse where you just drink like lemon water and cayenne pepper for a month. So
Just want to point out that we're talking about food again, and I think
we should stop that.
Oh no! Oh no!
Do we need a snack?
She's here.
Incest.
Rachel's here. Oh no! Oh no!
It works.
Good coverage, James.
Thanks, James.
I will say,
But what
we're
if
gonna end
two
with
brother breads fucked each other?
we are going to end with the food thing because I've got one more food thing to talk about at the end. But but before that, let's get away from that again. Ryan, what do you got?
All right. Well, I was making sandwiches. I was making sandwiches today. Actually, so I think last time I was on, I talked about kids stuff, and I'm going to do it again because really, I'm not going anywhere. We've got two kids here. That's really, I literally don't get out much. So today, I've been working from home and went upstairs around lunchtime. We've got like a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old. So. My wife's feeding the 3-month-old. It's like, hey, you want a sandwich? See, I'm making sandwiches. So, okay, I go in the kitchen. 3-year-old's at the table. So I can't see him. Different room, he's coloring with markers. So, making sandwiches. So no one's really watching him. And then, like, just about getting the sandwiches done and go back in. Or not go back. I hear from the other rooms, his name's Rowan. Rowan, no, and then hear him run away because as soon as he gets scolded, he just like runs away and starts saying, "I'm sorry, don't." And he'll like shush you. It's like, Rowan, stop doing that. Shh, stop talking. All right, you little asshole. But okay, he's just being his normal asshole self.
I love that this is on tape. I can't wait to show this to Rowan when he's 17.
Yeah. So actually, I do have a video that I can share. But I guess I can just share the video file.
He'll know he's an asshole.
Yeah. That's right, Ryan. You have all the.
I logged out. I logged out, Matt. I didn't want to create any conflicts. But so I come back and like he's colored. He's taken. So his favorite color is black. Perfect for a 3-year-old, right? So every time he colors, he starts with black. He's run through multiple black crayons and markers. Well, like never touching an orange marker. So it always goes black, red, brown, no other colors in that order.
Sounds
every
demonic.
time.
I love it.
Yeah.
So he's got the black, and I come in, and he's just got marker all over. He's been coloring himself, and let me see here. Okay, so I put the video on. And he's also, you can see from the shirt, he's been into superheroes.
He scares people away.
I don't know if you could hear the beginning of it, but he says who he is.
Black man disappears because
He's Black Man.
he scares
Oh.
people away.
No.
He looks like he has some sort of sci-fi disease.
Yeah, it's kind of like a reverse Venom situation.
Yeah.
Man too.
If I color on myself?
Yeah.
He said I can be Black Man too. All right.
Oh, look at that quad stretch.
Yeah.
I will say a couple of them look like pretty sweet tats. A couple of them don't,
Yeah.
but
Like how he
there are a
ends
couple of designs that
So he comes and he's just the rest of the day he's been talking about how he's Black Man and Black Man does this and Black Man goes and it got me thinking. It's like, oh yeah, like, you know, he's been into superhero stuff, so like, you know, he's been saying like, I'm Iron Man, you know, I'm the Hulk, and it's like, okay, he made a Black Man who his power is he has black marker on himself, I guess. He didn't really. No, he says in the video he can disappear.
he can disappear.
Yeah.
And, he can
And then I was
people.
like, oh well, he doesn't know like what a Black Man is. I was like, he doesn't know what anybody is. Like I'm thinking like he like really hasn't seen any
Anyone?
Black people. And I was like, he hasn't seen any people except for like my wife and I and our
That's for the
parents.
last year.
Yeah. I'm like the occasional visitor outdoors, but like he gets so excited now when he like sees anyone on the street, like tries to yell at him hi. And I was like, this is gonna this will probably have long-ranging effects for like socialization here because he's not interacting. He doesn't interact with anyone his own age ever, like for a year.
How old is he now?
He's 3. Yeah.
3.
So
his
birthday's
2 to
March
3?
17th, so like right when the pandemic started was his birthday. Yeah.
So from 2 to 3, it was the COVID year.
Yeah, it was the COVID year. It's like, and that's like when you
wow.
stop being a baby and like kind of start being a person and interacting with people. And he just like, it's like
That's
what a
And hanging by himself.
yeah. So like him calling himself Black Man, like real, it just like the gravity of the situation kept going on me. It was like, he doesn't know what other kids are.
Oh no!
Because this is his favorite color, and he wants to be a superhero.
Yeah.
It's pretty linear.
It's just like,
Yeah, and they were washable markers, but like I gave him a bath tonight, and he's at the least he's gray man at this point. It's
They're washable. They're
teach him about grayscale, and that can become his new favorite color.
Yeah.
Grayscale man.
You might like that, but yeah, he takes that black marker and like there'll be a coloring book, and he just blacks out the eyes of everything and like crosses faces out, and it's
That's
concerning.
literally-
I think Katie had a point earlier.
Yeah, that's like genuinely several scenes from many horror movies. As a little kid, blacking out eyes.
Yeah, I made a drawing.
Yeah.
He also really likes skeletons, right?
He loves
He
skeletons. Yeah,
Oh,
he loves
man.
all things like Halloween.
He's so metal.
His favorite
Yeah,
song is
yeah.
"Spooky Scary
Cool.
Skeletons." He asks for it constantly.
You have the coolest kid.
He's cool. I'd also be scared though.
I'm always a little bit scared. Yeah, he'll just randomly start saying things like, "I want to break your skull and rip off your arm."
Okay. That's also metal and terrifying.
Then he just starts speaking Latin.
And then his head will turn all the way the other
Starts
way.
to bleed out of his eyes. It's
The other day I caught him crawling on the ceiling.
Yeah, like upside down, like in a crab
So
walk.
this is probably all like superhero based. So
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so.
I mean,
You
he'll
should
probably
play
be in one
some,
of like the darker comics of superheroes.
You should play some like Norwegian death metal for him and see if he really enjoys that.
Yeah, there was. I think it was. What's that band? Ghost. There was There's a song called "Mummy Dust" by Ghost. Playing that for him and really liked it.
Yeah,
Mummy Dust.
Play Mummy Dust.
Yeah, I should play that. I haven't played that in a while. I'm gonna play that
is
again.
your
for him
wife
and see if he
also scared
remembers.
of him?
I think she's just more exhausted by.
Yeah.
But she's been channeling that into making some pretty spooky looking pancakes these days.
Oh yeah, she has been. Yeah, I'm trying to get her to make more of those
Can't
because
talk-
she didn't.
MLab food. Come on.
I'm sorry. I mean,
And Rachel has already tweeted those pancakes. So
Yeah. Can't tweet them again.
Kids are that's my biggest honestly, you're the only parent on this panel right now, Ryan, that I know of, and my biggest fear would be is like raising just not knowing like how to raise a kid, right? Like they're like, oh, you'll figure it out, and I'm like, I'll figure out how to keep it alive, but I'm not sure I won't figure out how to not fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like
you learn that really quickly that like, oh, like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna you just do shit to get by, and then you think about it more and like, oh, that's all anyone has ever done. That's all my parents did, because the parenting classes that are available are like a day, or like a few hours, and they'll like teach you how to change a diaper. It's all infant stuff. There aren't like parenting. There's not parenting training through, 3 to 18.
Right,
you just do stuff, and most of it's fine.
Yeah, I feel like that's what parenting is. You just have to try and fuck it up in a cool way, like the right way.
Yeah,
because everyone's gonna be fucked up. You just have to somehow fuck it up.
And when you fuck up as a parent, just like try to own it a little bit. Like that's all I just don't want to be the dad who's just like, nope, you don't do it.
Yeah.
Just pick like one thing you don't want to be, and then just do the rest. That would be my advice.
Yeah. The one thing I'll teach my kid is how not like don't kill people, and then like let everything else fall in place how it goes.
My parents were like that, actually. Sort of grew up, and my folks would never. I wasn't allowed to play with toy guns, or I wasn't allowed to be any violence. But nudity was fine. Like I could watch movies that had sex in them. Like my parents were like, "Sex is natural; it's not something weird. But guns and violence is weird." And I think, quite frankly, they were right.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Like the European
they're pretty
approach.
cool about that. Yeah. It was that time in like the 80s when like there was like the thing to do. That's the thing to do.
And then you watched all of those like Esterhazy movies, like Fatal Attraction and stuff like that in the 90s. You're like, no, this is cool. I like this.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
You never had to like secretly watch like scrambled porn at midnight.
I mean, I never had to, but I did for sure. I
just feel like you have the full experience of being a teenager.
So I grew up.
Are cool, but you haven't really lived if you were like watching, HBO After Dark.
Yeah, listening for any movement and being ready to change the channel at a moment's notice.
That's for the last
button. The last button. We all know it. Yep.
And it's the cable hooked directly into the VCR.
See, I don't want to hear it unless you didn't have a remote. Like if you had to sit next to the TV, listening. It's like right there. Yeah.
In New York City growing up, we had Channel 35, and Channel 35 was public access television. And public access television after 10 p.m. Was just porn. So
wait, like public
yeah,
public access becomes public access. All right.
So it was a lot of 900 commercials for escorts, but they were nude escorts, and then they would have every now and then they would just have a porn movie that they cut up and would like show, and then they would have commercials in between it. But there were actually a couple shows. There was a show called Midnight Blue with a man named Al Goldstein, who was like he was like a Larry Flint kind of guy, but in New York City, but he was like a First Amendment porn guy. You know what I mean? Like, and he had a show where he interviewed people. And then there was a woman named Robin Bird, who was an ex-porn star who did a talk show with like dancers as they came through New York to work the strip circuits, right? Because like you would go to like hustlers all around the country.
That's actually kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I just Googled public access porn and a question, and there's a Reddit thread that says, "Is public access porn in Manhattan still a thing?" So
is it? Is it still a
thing? Please hold.
Because growing up, it was fantastic. It was really
nobody
nice.
seems to know the answer, but they did say this other person said that there was softcore porn on 25 years ago.
It sure was.
It
sure was.
You guys were really spoiled over there in New York.
Now,
look, there's the Robin Bird show.
I grew up in Central Illinois, and we lived in the middle of a cornfield, basically. And my dad and my parents got us a satellite dish, like a big, like old school set. This was like you could see it a half a mile away from the main road. You could just see this big white dish that was outside of our house, and it had a hand crank on it that changed the position of the satellite dish. And then we got like channels from all over the fucking country. It was crazy. But that also meant that I found porn, like not just porn, like
cranking it until you find
porn.
But see,
you gotta.
Here again is the class difference. You had to work for that. Ben had to turn on his rich TV and he had public access porn.
Yeah.
So Matt earned his porn.
I earned my porn.
Yeah. No, my porn. I don't have any respect for it at this point. Yeah, I didn't have to work for it at all.
Leveled out. You crank the satellite dish with your left arm, and then by the end you've got two strong forearms.
The worst part of this was like when like during the day, right, when like normal TV hours were happening and my dad was watching television, he would have me go outside if he wanted to change the satellite to a different place, and he would be like, okay, go to the left, and I would have to crank it to the left, and he'd be like, okay, stop, and then he'd click through the channels to find something he wanted to watch, and then I could come inside.
Was it always random, or were there coordinates that you could like put in, knowing that you?
So eventually, like we had this satellite dish for years, and there were when we first got it, it was hand crank, but then we got a motor on it. My dad put a motor on it, and it actually had like satellites that it went to, and it would be like T1 or S5 or something like that. And then we were like, okay, this is the one that has like this. There was one station that was like out of Texas that was like a CBS affiliate out of Texas that we would watch TV shows on all the time. So you got like Texas commercials and like all that stuff. Yeah.
So after you found a porn coordinates that you really like, did the next day you have to right after did you have to read things so your parents wouldn't find like, oh, he was on the porn coordinates again?
Yeah. The coordinates. I love that.
Yeah, you had to be sneaky. You had to be sneaky about it. Yeah.
Go back.
That was the old delete your history.
Yeah.
You had to delete the satellite history.
Very much so.
When they put a motor on it, did you have to go out and like pull the ripcord on the two-stroke engine?
No, he was still hand crank for silence.
It was the coolest thing because you just pushed a button in the house and you saw the satellite dish move.
Wow.
And that was really cool. That was cool to watch as a kid.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was
cool. It was dope. We were watching like HBO and Showtime and all that stuff before it was scrambled. Like we got all those channels. So, movies were never it was great. We could watch any movie.
Whenever I talk about television channels and watching TV back in the day, do any of you know about the Max Headroom incident that happened in Chicago in the late 80s?
I've heard of this.
I know Max Headroom, but I don't know the incident.
So in the late 80s in Chicago, one night, two local broadcasts, but they were network broadcast television, got hijacked by a dude in a Max Headroom mask who laughed maniacally. And the first one lasted 25 seconds. And the second one lasted 90 seconds.
That's a long one.
And it's, they've never figured out who hacked into these live broadcasts. These dudes have never been caught for what they did, and it's super creepy. I would recommend watching the videos. They are terrifying and weird, and they think it was probably like a. Did anybody see that movie with Christian Slater? What was the movie? The Radio? No,
Pump Up the Volume.
Radio.
Pump Up the Volume.
Pump Up the
Yes, where he's the pirate radio and he like drives around, and they basically think it was probably something like that, like somebody using an old school signal jammer, like. But then they had to relay it to whatever room these people were in. It's super creepy, and it's a really cool like unsolved mystery. It's one of the few like FAA like hijackings of like a live broadcast that's never been solved.
Is there a conspiracy
check that out?
Aliens or no?
There's really like no sort of conspiracy that people can come up with. Like I think they just think it was like this random crazy person, this random crazy dude just doing it. But I think it's weird that like that nobody has ever been caught or at all. Like to me, that's the weirdest part is that they looked into it, they tried to solve it, and they just couldn't. Which means whoever was doing it at the time.
Is he like saying things?
Let's see if we can.
I have it right here, and it looks like it says with subtitles.
It says the first one was on WGN.
So yeah.
So yeah, it's just starting at the beginning of the video, and it was on TV. This was what was on TV.
Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it was Doctor Who.
I
Yep.
love Doctor Who.
Oh.
Freaking liberal.
This was in 1987.
Oh, this background.
Yeah, this
It's
is
so
nice.
creepy.
It's so creepy.
What does that even mean?
They didn't make a Doctor Who villain based off of this.
Your love is fading. Like that's what's like. It's super creepy. What does that mean?
Tune to clutch cargo.
I don't even know what clutch cargo
No,
is.
so the background is moving behind him too.
It's also
Yeah, the
like
back-
not real language. I still think it could be an alien.
It could be.
Hey, the jury's out. I haven't solved
That's a
this
good
mystery.
mask, too.
Yeah, these are like words that aliens heard, and they're just putting them together.
And they used the human mask.
My brother's wearing the other one.
Oh God!
Look at those hands.
All right, this is gonna give me nightmares.
Yeah, right. Super weird and creepy.
Oh, and then I'm glad I stopped it because there's ass spanking.
Oh,
Yeah,
put it
and then
back.
they
We found the
they-
coordinates.
with
That person just wanted to
flashlight.
get down public access porn.
They were like, "I'm going for it."
So they
WTTW. So that was at 11:20. The other one was on WGN at like not at the 9 o'clock news.
9 o'clock news.
Yeah,
Which
so a
is
lot
like-
of people would have seen that.
No one's watching Doctor Who besides us nerds.
I can't believe that nobody's claimed credit for it at this point. Because I guess the FAA would still be pissed. Maybe that's why. Like you would think that I don't know when the statute of limitations for something like that runs out.
Huh.
Never.
I don't know.
There's this one dude still in the room, like one agent who's just been working on it for like 30 years, 40 years almost. He's just like, I will find who fucking did this. Good for him. I hope he does. I hope he does. That was a creepy way to get to the end of the show talking about Max Headroom, but I like it. I don't know how we got there through internet porn or through public access porn, and then
Plug your
that's
late
what
night show, Ben.
It was Rowan. Rowan did it.
we got there through Rowan somehow.
Yeah, this would go well with your show, with your new show, Ben. Talk to people about your new show.
Yeah, Midnight Creepout is the first and second and fourth Friday. Nope, yeah, second and fourth Friday of every month at midnight. And Jess Bryant teaches me about creepy things, all things creepy. If it goes bump in the night, we're going to talk about it. So last week we talked about the Phoenix Lights, which is a UFO, pretty confirmed UFO sighting over Phoenix, which was awesome. And so I don't know what we're going to be doing next week, but you'll have to tune in and find out. This is the part of the show we're going to bring Rachel back in. We know she has a bunch of tweets about food because she asked us to stop talking about it. But let's see what else she's got. What's going on, Rachel?
Hey, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a buzzkill.
No.
I can't write funny food tweets. It's just a personal weakness.
It's all good. It's all good. What do you got?
Cool. So I'm going to just share my screen so you'll get to see the tweet and I get to read it out loud to you. And hopefully that will be as funny as it is in my head. So I'm just going to share screen now. I'm assuming YouTube Ash is doing some sort of Max Headroom parody in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I was a little scared by that.
Yeah.
I know. I was too.
It's all right. We're keeping an eye.
Cool. So I'm going to start from the top of the show and move toward the end. You'll see. Most of these will make sense in terms of how they were inspired by the show. But my first tweet was, I think the hardest part of giving birth in a Starbucks is having to surrender it to the mermaid that lives in the basement and mix all the different kinds of drinks in his mouth. We were just talking about Starbucks babies. That's what I came up with.
Oh, God.
What I imagine would be the hardest part.
Terrifying idea.
God made pregnancy difficult because Eve ate the fruit of knowledge. God made taxes complicated because they're a little fug. Little dissertation on religion and spirituality there. Do you ever think conservative small towns are ever frustrated when they're compared to the ones from Footloose? Like, we're nothing like the no dancing town. What we're forbidding is much, much worse.
I guarantee they all think that.
Every single one.
Yeah, they all think that they're not like that town.
They're like, we're much worse than Footloose town. This is like a little fun one. When you're explaining how to make coffee, but everyone who's watching your instructional video is stoned.
Guilty.
Guilty, yeah.
I will also say that cold drinks is much sexier. Like hot drinks is this way. Cold drinks is very smooth.
Is it like slow jams?
I'll watch that one after midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like literally, like you've never seen porn stars like drink hot coffee during like a scene.
Damn, you're right.
This is inspired by Katie's. Friends, my air fryer is a miracle. I'm cooking so much these days. Other friends, my slow cooker has saved my life. Me eating a whole jar of spaghetti sauce. I'm consuming this by accident. I will realize this is not my Blue Apron meal in a half hour.
So accurate.
Was it a Blue Apron or did I fuck that up?
It was HelloFresh, but either way, none of them deserve it.
One of them, yeah. The thing from Ratatouille is that a lot of things are going to go south if those rats don't eat that garbage. That's an environmental disaster waiting to happen. Remy is the worst kind of tech bro disruptor. Yeah, that's just like me riffing, you know. Going to my favorite sandwich shop for the first time since 2020 and demanding the person at the cash register sell me a year-old sandwich. It's time to return to normal, I explain. You know how much I love sandwiches that have turned one before the pandemic. Shannon, it's time. Story.
Oh, no.
That's something, they've always been like that. To clear the air, the times I've said I fucking love science, what I meant was I fucking love science. I'm angrily telling science that I'm capable of love. Sorry for any science.
Conversations.
Then we're on to the cousin stuff. So imagining someone explaining that if you're going to date your cousin anyway, you might as well date your first cousin. Like, why wouldn't you prefer us? Yeah.
First cousins or get the fuck out.
First
within cousin.
Yeah, why would you want your second place cousin? You, me. Okay, if you had to date your cousin, you, stop it. Me, your fun aunt could be your mother-in-law. You, I hate this. Me, pretty good deal. pretty, looks into the middle distance, nice. So the stuff about the cousin stuff is you have to put, like, for me when I'm writing, I'm like, I have to put it through some sort of lens, or people are just going to think that 2MB Studios fucks their cousin. So I had to create these like little monologues and so forth.
The incest police will get them.
Yeah.
Going on a trashy talk show, wanting to confirm that I am not the father. The show arranges a DNR test. I'm put into a coma. Tears and refuses to pull the plug. I wake up and rejoice. My child would have definitely killed me. This is just for 1 p.m. last stuff.
I really like that one.
Those are the paternity tests we need in this world.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Shaking hands, I sit down. These are all really long. I'm very tired. Shaking hands, I sit down for the interview, explaining that my background is mostly in extinction event planning. The party planning company hiring manager cocks an eyebrow. I can tell she wants to ask more, but she's also afraid. I smile. She offers me the job that day. This is a weird one. Actors dropping 80 pounds for a role. It was mostly water weight. I'm the texture of astronaut food. Luckily, it doesn't come across on camera.
Just really freeze dried.
It's very desiccated. Like if we touch Julianne Moore, she just like turns into dust. My friend's a comedian. This is Ryan. He has a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, just really committed to the rules of 3.
Good.
So as Ryan was talking, I was just thinking about I don't know why. This is just what I was thinking of. I have hoes in different area codes. I have a lot of potential romantic partners. I have clowns all over town. It would be easy for me to assemble an improv troupe. I have bisquicks all over the district. No matter where I am, there's breakfast.
So I got bisquicks all over the district. I like
bisquicks all over the districts.
I'm into that.
Yeah, then I had to retweet Anthony, his poll, vote in the poll. From last show.
Yeah.
The year 1902. My parents huddled on the ship as we sailed to Ellis Island. Can't wait to start a new life with just a clothes on their back. Me huddled hornily near them. Can't wait for NYC's famous public accent.
Fuck boy, Artie.
Me watching scrambled porn as a teen. I can't wait until I can get my own place and I can watch porn that's hard boiled. Detective stories. I don't know. Kind of a hat on hat. I'm not saying D.B. Cooper was also Max Headroom. I'm just saying that would kill a lot of birds with one stone. And that's all I wrote. I was going to write another Max Headroom joke, but then I'm like, it's 10:25.
Rachel, those were great. What a fantastic recap of the night. Yeah, I loved it. We started talking about food, and we ended up talking about pirate television. And in between, yeah, we talked about a ton of stuff, and then raising kids and how hard that is. And man, yeah, I think
it's not hard. It's just weird.
I think at the end of the day, yeah, whether you're raising a kid or trying to get through your shift and have to help somebody give birth, or whether you're just muscling down that bottle of tomato sauce. We're all just doing the best we can. We're all just doing what we can do to get by and hope that we don't fuck it up too bad. And I think we're all doing great. So pats on the back all around. I want to thank all of our viewers out there. Thanks for watching. Feel free to, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. We here at 2MB Studios. We do a ton of stuff every week, and you can help us out by liking and subscribing. We have a Patreon as well. So if you'd like to subscribe to that, we have some really cool Patreon exclusive content that we're going to have coming at you. And so that'll be the place to get it. I want to thank all of our guests. Really appreciate your coming on and hanging out tonight and just shooting the shit with all of us. Yeah, what a really fun time. Rachel, Matt, Katie, MLav, James, Ryan, thanks so much for being here. Till next week, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Bye.